Hey everybody, it's Melanie Warner here with Defining Moments TV. Thank you for being on the show today, for being here with us. I have a very special guest I want to introduce you. Her name is Melinda Colon. Melinda, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you guys, I know many of you are entrepreneurs, you're speakers, you're coaches, you're doing all the things, but let me tell
Mm,
you, how many of you have heard of B2B and B2C, right? You know, B2C means business to consumer. B2B means business to business. There's also B2E, which is business to enterprise, which is like larger corporations. We all know there's big money there. But did you know there's another sector, if you're a business owner, that you are missing out on big time? And I'm talking not knowing this is costing you at least $1 million a year, probably more than that, right, Melinda? So it's called
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
B2G. This is business to government. Now, as an entrepreneur, I know many of y'all are like, I can't stand the government. I hate dealing with the IRS. This is not mean. This is not like, how do you partner with the IRS? Okay. We already do that and pay them a lot of money. This is like, I know for years I was like, ugh, I don't want to partner with the government. They're all red tape. It's like the post office.
Mm,
They're bad mood and they just drag their feet and they don't do anything. And I'm like, they're like dinosaurs. And I'm like the lizard,
yeah.
right? So as an entrepreneur, I've been very against this. I've been very anti-government stuff. I'm just being honest, okay?
Yeah.
And so I have learned so much from Melinda that I asked her to come in here today because I cannot wait to share the information with you that we have about her upcoming masterclass. And and by the way, the dates and everything are going to be below. The dates, the links, all the details you need are going to be in the link below. You just click on that. It's going to give you everything you need, the times, all that. We're not going to get into all that today because I want you guys to just hear what she has to say. And I want you to understand exactly what you need to learn to be able to do this. So, Melinda, welcome again. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And you know what, Melanie, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't agree with everything the government does. Like, no, absolutely not. I mean, I'm a Black woman. Of course, I don't agree with everything the government does. However, I understand economy. I understand how the system works. And I understand that there are benefits to how I can become a more wealthier and more asset driven entrepreneur and business owner. You see, a lot of business owners, they rely on one stream of income. They have one client type, they have one focus, and they sell to that market. But there are government clients, or let me just talk about agencies, people that go to your church, that shop at your same grocery store, that live in your neighborhood, that are just looking for services that you already provide. So if you're an author, if you're a coach or consultant, if you have training programs, if you are just thinking about making impact and really just changing or transforming your community, they're looking for you. Even when you are a professional services firm, like if you're in finance or marketing or an accounting firm, they're needing your services. So what this looks like is kind of just thinking about what you can do locally, like for your city or your state or even your county. They are needing services all the time. In fact, they have a budget. Okay, going back to the economy for a second, they have a budget. Like imagine you have a budget and you're like, okay, I got a certain amount of dollars to spend on these needed, necessary items. And so they just raise their hand and say, hey, does anybody provide these services? Because we have to spend this money. It is a requirement by law that they spend money with small businesses. Did you know that? Like $700 billion have to be spent with small businesses?
Wow. And I think today, all this controversy that we hear, all this uncertainty, and all these people that are angry at the government and they're overspending and they waste all this money. And so people are even more leery
Yeah.
about partnering with the government. But I will tell you that when you think about solutions, it's the entrepreneurs that have pretty much solved everything in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's the small businesses, the mom and pops, people like all of us that have worked really hard and have gotten really creative in our solutions that the government doesn't know about you unless you go out there and talk to them and
Mhm.
put together what they call an RFP and things like that. But here's the deal. The reason that Melinda really understands this is she is an award-winning strategist and author. She's a sought-after speaker. She helps business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are investors, like anybody that wants to partner with the government. She shows you how to unlock millions of dollars in government and corporate contracts. She's done more than, get this, you guys, 4.4 billion. I feel like Dr. Evil, billion dollars. 4.4 billion in
Yeah.
awarded contracts and 74% average client win rate. She's recognized as the go-to advisor for leaders who want to grow fast, scale smart, and position their companies for long-term success. She's the creator of frameworks like the GovCon sales strategy and the strategic win engine. Melinda turns complex contract processes into simple, actionable steps that deliver results. Her practical, no nonsense approach replaces overwhelm with clarity and confidence and gives her audience tools that they can apply immediately. Whether she's on a stage, in print, or at the boardroom table, Melinda's mission is clear. So she wants to equip you, high performing entrepreneurs, to complete and win at the highest levels. And didn't you just tell me, Melinda, that I mean, it's so impressive, your background, but didn't you
Thank
tell
you.
me that you just recently helped somebody do $1 billion contract or some
Yes.
crazy like that?
Yes. Yes. Actually, one of our clients, our agency clients on that side of my business, we actually put together a proposal response for a $1 billion contract. It's a confidential contract, but it's going to impact an entire community. And it's so exciting is for someone like me who loves helping people and serving people and just always finding ways to utilize the power that's already out in the world to focus on the people. It was an exciting opportunity for me to partner with this company, this engineering company, to put together this proposal. And it was submitted. And unfortunately, we didn't get shortlisted. And they asked her, like, well, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean? Does it mean that we're not good enough? Da, da, da. And I said, let's go back to the GovCon sales strategy. We need to really identify whether or not we followed the process or not. There's a few things strategically we didn't do properly, the team didn't provide. And then there's also something that they brought up in our postmortem or our debrief meeting internally is that they didn't take in consideration the competition. And so they thought to themselves, oh, yeah, we didn't position to compete against them. Oh, well, that makes a big difference. Now, Melanie, I have helped clients in my agency as well as a consultant win billion-dollar contracts. In fact, there was another billion-dollar contract that I've been able to help my clients acquire, and they were awarded, and it was a big deal. And they were going against bigger companies with actual experience, actual past performance, but we went in with strategic experience, strategic knowledge, and understanding of the problem that the buyer had. The agency had problems that the other competitors, even though they were bigger and they had bigger pockets, they could not articulate the solutions to fit those problems. And so we did that with flying colors, and they won the contract. And it was a $1.4 billion contract, and by far was the largest contract they had ever won. We helped them win billions before, but it was a total of like $20 million contracts and $100 million contracts. But this was their first $1 billion contract. Like, can you imagine what type of transformation that does, not only to a business, but to a community, to be a part of an impact that is transforming people's lives every single day? It's not just a small thing that gets written into a book and never seen again. We pass by it every single day. We drive on it. We are seeing it all the time, constantly. And that's the greatest reward is being able to, like fly to my client's office, which is in Boston, and actually see what they've done, take photos at the locations and really just experience it. Just it's an insane experience. And to imagine that just people that are solopreneurs can do the same, it feels transformational. And it always has been for every client that has gone through our programs.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, imagine what even just an extra $1 million could do to your business,
Yeah.
right? And I want to give you guys an example of how this works in the real world. And especially if you're an author. For example, we had a client who was a speaker and didn't have a book. Okay. And she went to a government agency that was like a police, an area in her market. They asked her to speak, but she said, "What's your budget?" And they're like, "We don't have a budget for speakers." And it was like 200 police officers in their precinct or in their local community. And she said, "Well, do you have a budget for materials?" And they said, "Yes."
Yeah.
So we helped her write a book very quickly, in a short amount of time, right? And get that done. And she was able to sell the book for $20 each, and there were 200 people. So she made $4,000 instead of from her speech because she turned the question into, where else is this budget? Because a lot of times when you're working with corporations or government, it's not negotiable.
Yeah.
These are the numbers. This is what they have. And you got to fit within that little box and you have to present it the way they want to receive it. Right. And so this is where you have this system that you develop. Tell us more about your system.
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier, but before I go into that, your client did exactly what they needed to do, which is to respond with a solution. Now she can take that experience and apply it to other counties and city municipalities that are in her area and say that we just did the same thing for someone else. So it becomes this past performance, that government past performance experience without even really like lifting much, to do that, right? It was just so simple, but that could unlock a $50,000 contract or a $100,000 contract where she is printing out books for all locations, right? All agency locations under a state level contract. So there's so many things that could happen within that, that's really valuable. But my GovCon sales strategy is five steps. It's super simple. And in fact, the first two steps, once they're done, they're done. You don't have to go back to them, right? I intentionally create it this way because oftentimes I'm talking to business owners who have kind of, they've dabbled in getting registered, or maybe they have won a contract, but they haven't gone through the formality. And they're just like, well, what do I have to do? Like, I want to make sure that I have everything done. And so, step number one is to prepare, like, prepare with the end in mind. What do you actually want to accomplish? There are so many types of contracts. There are contracts that you could literally go to an agency right now and get. You don't need to have formalities in place. But if you want to submit a proposal or a bid and you want to go through the standard procurement process, then yes, you want to make sure that you're registered. You want to make sure that you know what services that you're providing. You want to know, like, what do you have, right? Oftentimes I was talking to my husband this weekend, and I was saying to them, man, I could create so many more offers to help more people. And I just don't even think about it because I don't think it's that sexy or that attractive. And so I sat there and I just thought of like different offers I could create and serve people with. And I thought, man, this could really transform people's lives that have these problems. And so this is one of the things that we do with the prepare step, because there's more than one contract that you can win. The second step is target. Now, targeting the right buyers, making sure that you actually know who's buying what you sell. Because now you know what you're selling. Now you just need to find out who is buying that. This is one of the mistakes that I see people make. They go into government contracting and they're just like, what contract can I get? They're a website company and they're just like, oh, I can sell paper clips. I can sell bottled water. But here's the thing, there's a strategy in every single type of contract. And so if you're not in that arena, then stay out of it. Like, stay in your lane. Here's the thing, you want to create a business that is going to outlive you. You want to create legacy. You want to have be the authority in your market. You want to have value in your business beyond the time that you spend in it, really creating systems that are going to outlive you. And you can't do that when you're trying to win contracts here, there, and ever, and you're not having a system. So, step number two is targeting the right buyers that are buying exactly what you sell right now.
I
Now,
love that
step
because so many entrepreneurs make this mistake. They just go, okay, I want to sell to government contracts. So what are they buying? And let me go sell that.
no,
Instead of getting, creative and saying, here's what I do and how does that fit already with my expertise into government contracts. We assume their pain points and we don't always know. And that's a sector for me personally that I've had to learn a lot about that I've been able to capitalize as well. Like everything from teaching people how to speak to the media, teaching government
yes,
officials, how to share their story, how to communicate better. Um, some of them want to write books, things like that. So in our
Yep.
industry, it's transferred that way, but you already have a specialty. Every one of you has some specialty. And I guarantee you there's some sector of the government that probably works in the same 300 industries that everybody else needs support in.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so it's just identifying that. So, and so what was the next step? I know you were talking about
Yeah.
very specific steps, but what's next?
Okay. So we just talked about prepare and then target. Now we're ready for strategize. See, a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to give this secret to your audience, is that you can actually position to win in the top three ways. And these are the benefit that this is the like, this is where you transition to an amateur to a pro. Okay. Because government agencies are not looking for people to do it all. They're looking for the right formula. They're looking for the right team. So there's one way where you can position as a prime. Let's say you have experience, like your friend who has one contract before, she can leverage that as past performance. Or even if you know, have business experience in the B2C or the B2B or the B2B, and you want to use that to win contracts, you could totally do that. I help my clients do that all the time. So those are the two ways is like prime. And then the second way is to subcontract. Well, you might look at the research and you're looking for the clients that buy what you sell. And they're asking for specific things that you don't want to offer. Like, let's be real. Sometimes when you come across a client, if you've been in business for long enough, you know that there are some things that you don't want to do or some things that you don't do. And you have someone else that you refer to. And that is perfect because all they're looking for is someone who is an expert in the thing. So all you have to do as a subcontractor is find who could be the prime, partner with them as a sub and the expert in the arena that you focus on. Now, a lot of people think, well, why don't they just do it themselves? I'll tell you exactly why. Because they cannot be the expert in everything. They're the expert in one specific thing, and that contract includes something that you're the expert in. So you become the differentiator. You become the valuable asset that they have partnered with to win a contract. This happens all the time, and people miss it. And they think, well, the contracts as a subcontractor, it must be smaller. Not if it's $100 million contract and the subcontractor is 29%. That's pretty good, right? So thinking about how can I partner or build relationships with bigger organizations so that they can leverage me. I can be the differentiator and really stand out. This is the fast play because what happens is you build relationship with the government. You see what they need, how often, the cadence of communication, the tools that they use, the resources, and you start to build a relationship with them through subcontracting most of the time. So this becomes a play that you can utilize now without being the best on everything. And then the last way that I'm going to share with you to position to win is joint ventures. This is when, going back to that example where they're asking for a scope of work or details that you do, like part A is exactly what you do, and then part B is not really what you want to do or what you really focus on. That's okay, because more than likely you're the expert and you know other people who are experts too. That's just how the world works. And you could partner with them and submit a contract or submit a proposal for that bid as a joint venture, a legal joint venture. See, these three ways are very attractive to government agencies. See, they're not looking for middleman strategies like someone to, broker the deal. They really want to work with someone that's long term, that has expertise and authority in their market, and that can say they actually do it and prove they do it. So it's really cool, right? The last two steps, I'll move a little bit quicker. Now, I just want to recap what we've done. We talked about prepare, target, strategize. Now we're on to submitting the proposal and the price. And when we submit a proposal and a price, we want to make sure that we're using their language. This is just basic marketing. Okay. We want to use their language. If they call a color indigo, we're going to use indigo. If they use semicolons, we're going to use semicolons. Like, use exactly how they have written it out in the RFP, with how their language is, even though the industry that you're in might be different. I know that trips people up because, especially if you have specific terminology in your industry, you think, well, we got to use this. Not necessarily. They might not understand that. You could educate them, but use their language first. Okay. Now, the last step would be track. Now, I don't know a lot of people that like to stand around after they submit. And, the industry win rate outside of my programs is 10 to 12%, Melanie. Like, I don't know how many people like to do something 10 times and only win once. Like, that sounds exhausting. With my system, this GovCon sales strategy, my clients are averaging 74%. That's nearly 8 out of 10. So
Wow.
when we're thinking about this, it's like, do I want to win 1 out of 10 or 8 out of 10? So, guys, lean in, watch the recording again. This is really going to help you. Okay. Now, the last step is track. This is where it really comes together. And oftentimes it's like an oversight because people think, well, I don't want to, I didn't win it. I didn't get the contract. So I'm just going to go back to the way that I was doing business before. There's something really powerful that happens at this step every single time. And I'm going to tell you, this is where the secret sauce flows out of the cup. Because when you ask for feedback, a debrief from the client, and they go through and they tell you what they loved about your proposal or your price and what they didn't love about your proposal and your price, now you have something that no one else has. You have intel, but now you've built a relationship with the same person who's going to buy from you the next time that contract comes out. Because 85% of contracts repeat. 85%. So,
Wow. I didn't know it was that high.
yes,
Wow.
85%. Because, they set their budgets and they're in place. They might adjust and move those numbers around a little bit. Like the Department of Defense increased their budget, the Department of Energy increased their budget, but it's just about the same line items every term. So what that means is if you didn't win this time, you have a really strong chance of winning next time. And then once you win, man, all you got to do is stay on their good graces. And they want you to stay on the good graces.
So what happens when you don't understand this process? When people don't understand this, methodology, or
Yeah.
they don't follow these steps?
91% of registered vendors in SAM have never submitted a bid.
Wow.
So, what that means is to answer your question, what that means is a lot of people are excited about government contracting and they think that the hardest part is the registration. And it isn't. It's not. It's just that they don't have someone guiding them through how to be strategic about going after government contracts. This
So
is where,
do you think that's what holds people back the most? Just they don't know where to start, or they're afraid to put the contract out there. They're afraid it's going to get rejected, or
yes,
what do you think is the biggest thing that holds people back?
it's confidence. It's fear that I'm not good enough, fear that I don't have everything, fear that I'm not big enough. What if I don't have the right team yet? What if I don't have the right skill set? Um, that I'm never going to win a contract, all of these things. And the truth matter is, it's a system. This GovCon sales strategy is a system. And if you work it right, it works. And it might take you some time, but if you stay in the game, just like in business, you stay in the game, you become the master. And that's what you want, right?
Right. And you got to stay in the game long term. That's what I've learned from you. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a one-time shot. It can create residual income and
Oh,
other results. So what should our viewers do next? Because I know you guys are thinking, oh my gosh, you have so many questions. Wouldn't you love to just be able to sit down with Melinda and ask her all these questions? Like, don't you want to learn how to do this now that you know that there's that much money just sitting there? And there's
yeah.
that many people that aren't following through on this stuff. So if you just literally show up and follow through, you can win. You can
Yeah.
actually make money doing this fairly quickly. So what should our viewers do next, Melinda?
Yeah. If you are looking for recession proof revenue, looking to stabilize your business and grow it in any economy, then you're going to want to come to our next masterclass. We've tailored a masterclass, a virtual event for people who are serious about scaling their business. It's called the Gov Scale Insider Masterclass. The link in the information will be down below. And the most important thing to know about this is that this is an opportunity to get information, But I want to lean in and tell you, if you're serious, you'll want to upgrade to VIP, because the VIP experience is where you and I can actually have a conversation before the general admission session starts and really diving into your specific questions and getting you clarity. See, I want to make sure that every single person that's in this community, in Melanie's community, walks away with a custom roadmap that they can take the GovCon sales strategy and apply it to their business, no matter what industry you're in, and win. Really start to see the success, get the quick wins, get the fast wins, and start to build momentum in GovCon, because it's like the hidden secret that your business needs to scale right now.
I love it. So, who is this for? We
Yeah.
obviously know it's good for entrepreneurs. If you're a
Yeah.
speaker, if you're a coach, a consultant, an author, if you have books, just like the example I served, so many of you have already written books and you're trying to figure out how do I sell more books. This helps you get in front of a large audience where your book becomes part of your expertise. It becomes content. And in the budgets, it becomes a materials budget, just like if you're a speaker at an event. So there's a lot of different ways. If you're a speaker, you can train the government people, like anybody in that space, how to speak better, like
Mhm.
public speaking or being a speaker, sharing their story. If you're a writer or an author, you can work with people on how to create and tell their story better, how to build stronger communities, right? So what are some of the other examples, Melinda, of like who this is for and how they can monetize this platform?
Absolutely. So there's consultants, if you're in consulting services, if you're a coach, if you're in professional services, like if you're a marketer or a finance, you're accounting, even IT and software, if you're in construction, engineering, and if you're in healthcare. And so there really is practically no industry the government does not work with right now.
Well, look at someone like Elon Musk. I mean, people
Oh,
don't realize this, okay?
yeah.
But if you and I decided that we wanted to go to Mars or we want to go to the moon, we can go out and get funding from the government to actually create that entire opportunity. We don't have to go find investors and get a business plan. There are funds sitting there waiting for innovators and communicators to come in and take the money. So
Yes.
it's like they're not going to come knocking at your door unless you owe them money.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to put yourself out there. And the best way to know how to put yourself out there is to have this strategy and the steps that Melinda is talking about. I want you guys to learn this because I want you to win. So go and click on the link below and register for the event. And if you upgrade to VIP, you're going to get extra time with Melinda for Q&A as well. So you want to, soak up and absorb as much as you can from this brilliant woman and find out how is she doing this step by step, helping people generate millions and millions of dollars from government contracts.
You know what, Melanie? Actually, I want to add in a couple more things for your audience in the VIP session. So if you're choosing to join VIP, you'll get exclusive digital copies of my two books, the M&A Playbook, which is about mergers and acquisitions. It's like buying businesses and then how to add government contracts to those businesses. If you're not thinking about acquisitions, that's okay. This book still applies. And also, I'll share with you my guide, the strategic guide to winning government contracts, so that you can learn the exact frameworks and the system really in depth, really how to apply this after the masterclass. What I want to share with you is one thing that people often ask me is, where do I find these buyers? And so I created a kit called the Hot Buyers Starter Kit. And it makes it super simple so that you know exactly who is buying what you sell and even who your competitors are and how they're responding, how much money they're actually spending on the contracts that you will one day win. So I'm including that in the VIP program so that you can get access to that before general admission. I mean, this is like huge amount of value, and I want to make sure that your audience has.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that for all of our people in our community. We love that and we love you and we're so proud of you. And we're
Thank you.
so honored that you're doing this. We want to be part of this journey. And like I said, this, I really firmly believe if you want something in life or business, listen to the people who have what you want. Find a mentor, go find out who's already making money doing it, and find the shortest path to cash. Figure out
Yes.
what are the fewest possible steps that you can do? So instead of spending years trying to figure it out on your own, fumbling around, you can come spend a few hours. And I'm talking about just a couple of hours of your life to learn how you can add an extra million to 5 million a year, at least in government contracts, doing what you're already doing anyways, but finding people that actually have the money to pay you, aren't going to ghost you on sales calls. You don't have to go dance on TikTok. You don't have to run ads, right? You don't have to do all these exhaustive things that you're doing to try to find clients. And the money is literally sitting there waiting for you. So, this is one of the most exciting paths to activating money that I've seen in a long time. And
Mm.
I've been learning so much from you. And that's why I wanted to invite you to come in today and speak to our audience so that you guys can learn firsthand from Melinda how to do this. And I cannot wait to hear about your progress. So go click on the link below. I'll see you in there. And I'm so excited for what you're going to teach our people and cannot wait to hear about all of your success. So thank you for being here today. Is there anything else you want to add, Melinda, before we wrap up the show today?
Thank you so much, Melanie. And thank you for all of you that are listening in. And if it's on your mind, just go ahead and register. Upgrade to VIP. Take action because delay is a thief of dreams. And I want to make sure that I'm helping as many people achieve the dreams that they have to inspire to. Thank you so much.
That's right. Do it now, people. Do it now. All right. Thank you so much, Melinda. And we'll see you in your masterclass. Can't wait to learn more from you. I learn so much every time we talk. So I'll see you guys in there with Melinda. Have fun, everybody. We'll see you there soon. Bye.
Bye.